It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood of a dilapidated beat-down area. Would you be mine? Oh, could you be mine? Ah! It's a Mexican standoff! Da-da-da-da-da. Do-do-do-do. Da-da-da-da-da. Do-do-do-do. If you have never played Portal, this is probably really confusing for you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Atratzu, and today I'm going to share my thoughts on Portal 2. So let's just jump right into a game. I've taken the liberty of skipping ahead a little bit so we get to skip a lot of the dialogue and start getting into the actual meat of the game. Before we talk about that, let's just quickly cover the basics of what I like to talk about before we even get into the game. You might notice there's a toilet here, and the toilet does not work. Does not pass Atratzu's standard of toilet inspections. This is a pretty typical thing that I do, by the way. Portal 2 is a puzzle platforming game developed by Valve and released April 18th, 2011. I last played Portal 2013, and at this point I have played 48 hours. Now I have recently revisited Portal. I streamed 5 hours worth of Portal on my Twitch channel, which this would be a really good time to plug that. If you haven't followed my Twitter and followed my Twitch channel, I would highly encourage you to do so if you want to watch me play games live. I mean, no problem one way or another. If you want to, you're definitely welcome to. If not, continuing on with the video. So, where to start? Where to start? So as far as the story is concerned, you play as this person that we are currently looking at. She is Chell. I think that's how you pronounce it. Chell. She never says her name, so you never know for sure.
You really are doing great, Chell.
Chell. It is Chell. There you go. Found it out right there from Gladys's mouth. I never knew that. Learned something new right now. Anyway, you play as the protagonist, Chell. She is basically Aperture Science's guinea pig. There's really not much else to say about it. She is a test subject who is working to basically survive through various testing conditions and needs to pass through all of these tests. Now, you might have noticed, if you played Portal 1, that there is a big difference about Portal 1 and Portal 2. Aperture Laboratories has been broken down into shambles. The whole facility has pretty much shut down. And that is for reasons of what happened in Portal 1. If you want to know more about that, definitely check that game out. That's really about all I want to say about the story. There is another character, a blue sphere, who will follow around. He is the comedy relief. There are three main characters to talk about. Chell, who we play as, the protagonist. GLaDOS, the antagonist. And Wheatley, the idiot sphere cube / comedy relief. So, enough about that. Let's talk about the gameplay. So from each area, you will be facing different types of puzzles. And this is the most simple puzzle. This is how I would say all Portal games. This is how Portal 1 and Portal 2 starts. The button and cube, weighted cube test.
Please note the incandescent particle field across the exit.
And so each test gets progressively more difficult and progressively more complex as time goes on. You start out really simple, and then it gets a little bit more complicated and a little bit more complicated. Since I replayed Portal, I actually had forgotten just how detailed and complex some of these puzzles are. It's really a great game to come back to. If you haven't played it for as long as I have, you should definitely return to this game and play through it again, just for one more attempt to just go through it. A lot of the puzzles are fresh. You don't remember a lot of them. A lot of the situations are very familiar for people that have played Portal before. So the concept in these puzzles, as the name would tell you, is portal. You have here the red or orange portal, depending on how you want to see the color. I see orange around the edges. Some could say yellow. Pick whatever color. I'm going to be calling it the orange portal, though. There are two portals. An orange portal and a blue portal. The orange portal connects to the blue portal, and then you pass between them to solve various puzzles. Eventually, you end up getting a portal device, which will let you shoot portals to solve all of your different puzzles. For now, though, it's just teaching you the basics of how portal works. You walk in one portal, you walk out one portal. By this point, this blows most people's minds. Once you get into actual portal puzzles, though, the difficulty definitely ramps up. I would say that the difficulty is friendly enough that you probably could play this game without ever having played a Portal game before and have just as much fun as the rest of us. However, I would recommend checking out Portal 1 and learning the puzzles there, and then coming to this one for completely new puzzles. They're different puzzles, so I guess you could go either way. I would recommend doing Portal 1 before Portal 2 personally. So I got some notes about the just extra stuff that I had just forgotten about and that I easily overlook. One of the things is the music, and you're not really going to hear it in this My Thoughts video. You're not going to hear any of the music, but anytime that music shows up in the game, it's so very, very good. The music is electronic. It's got a very good sense of humor. That was a surprise. Additionally, you have the difficulty of the puzzles. Alright, here we go. We finally get a portal gun, but we only get one. So we only get the blue one. And you can only fire the portal on these types of walls. I forget that there are some people that probably have not played Portal. For those of you that have not played Portal, this is the concept. It's this kind of wall. You can't shoot it against the water on the floor or these types of floor panels. You can only shoot it on these back wall floor panels. You'll see a lot of this like various graffiti artwork stuff. It's kind of unsettling, to be honest. It's cool though. Anyway, the puzzles are always dynamic and changing. There's something new in every single puzzle. And I don't know if you've ever tried to make puzzles before, but that's really impressive. The fact that there's something new for you to do every single puzzle. And as you progress through the game, you have very similar concepts, and it just slowly builds on top of each other, one at a time, and it's just so very well done.
If you feel that a lethal military android has not respected your rights as detailed in the laws of robotics, please note it on your self-reporting form.
Now, regarding the puzzle difficulty, as said, I feel that somebody who's never played a Portal game before can get in here and play Portal just like the rest of us and learn the game and continue on. That being said, though, the puzzles here do get really difficult towards the end. If you do get stuck on an area, there are probably videos and stuff like that online, or you could even just leave a comment and somebody will end up helping you, probably me. I mean, there's a lot that can be said as far as getting help to fully complete the game. However, how long this game is, I would say about 5 or 6 hours. It's a 5 or 6 hour game, so it's a pretty hefty amount of time. Now, there is something also to say about dialogue in the game. If you're standing near Wheatley or Gladys, if you stand still, you actually get even more dialogue from the characters. I don't know if anybody remembers ever the days of DVDs. I'm going to feel old. Someday, people will talk about DVDs and be like, what are those?
Great work.
In the days of DVDs, there were menu screens, and these menu screens would sometimes have the characters talking on it, and you would sit there and watch the menu screen and wait until something happened. Portal 2 is like that. If you're around Wheatley, you can just stand there and just listen to him rattle on and on and on and talk about various things that might be happening in the game. It's very amusing. I highly recommend doing so. If you haven't done your first playthrough, do it eventually. Just definitely give that a try and try it out. Now then, there are several different gameplay modes. So far, we've just played single player. I would like to show multiplayer, but that would get a little bit complicated because you can't play multiplayer all by yourself. The cooperative, I guess I should say, not multiplayer. There are only 2 players. You and a friend play through Portal together. So, the puzzles take that into account. Something that happens to a lot of games is if they add a cooperative or multiplayer feature to the game, they just let you solve the game with an additional person. Portal does not do it that way. Portal makes completely new puzzles for you to go through with your friends. So you're actually playing 2 different stories, if you will. You're playing one story on single player of Chell, and you're playing another story with Atlas and Peabody, the robots. And you will understand a little bit more about what's going on with that later on. So, let's go back to the main menu and look at some of the different features. So, you got single player. We've talked pretty extensively about the single player that you have on this game. You have the cooperative games. Cooperative games, these are done with a friend. You can't jump into it unless you have a friend with you. You can find a partner online. So, even if you don't have a friend, you can take that option. There's also community test chambers, and this was probably my favorite feature of the game. With community test chambers, you can play other people's levels, and so you have, hypothetically, an infinite amount of levels. There's a lot of levels now, though, so you could go through and find them. Some people have come up with really, really great stuff. You can make your own test chamber. You can play other people's test chambers. It's all kept on the Steam Workshop. So, let's have a look at one of mine, for example. My ratings. Oh boy. Not many people played this, that's for sure. Can we play this? Edit. Let's jump into this one. Switch to game view. There we go. So, this was my version here. Simple start, button and cube setup. You walk through here and you're just like, okay, now what happens? What do we do in here? And then you go like this. Take this off. Now what do we do? I need to solve my own puzzle. There we go. So maybe we need this one. Gotta keep going down. Wait. Up to solve my very own puzzle. I don't want to do that. If you want to know how to solve this puzzle, play it. It's on my Steam profile list. Definitely play my puzzle. I gave a lot of effort into this one. I appreciate that. That'd be cool anyway. So there's thought, and there are little hidden corners around there, so always keep in mind where everything is. There's a whole lot of this movement around a lot. Here are the walls you can't shoot again. I'd always try different things. You gotta watch out. If I make something, I might make you stack boxes on top of each other just to be able to jump a tiny bit higher. But let's have a look at the editor for a new one. Just kind of some of the basics. You can jump right in. You can select. Middle mouse to rotate. Right mouse to move. Left clicking and dragging selects an area. You can set buttons. You can set them on walls. Tab is the switch there. Whoops. Rebuild your test chamber to view recent. Rebuild. There we go. So now we can rebuild to that one. I've actually forgotten a lot of the controls for how to make your own test chamber. So this is not going to be a test chamber tutorial, I guess. Unfortunately. But there it is. There's our button. And we can press this button. It doesn't do anything though, unfortunately. But we made it through. Test complete. Restarting. And it resets you all the way back to the beginning. Good stuff. And you can just keep on doing this puzzle indefinitely. But that's not exciting. Let's try. There we go. So you select the wall. Middle mouse to rotate. You see the arrow change for your cursor. Pull that up. You need to have your observing building. You can put the building there. You can put decorations. You can put a cube drop. You can put a button press. Good news, Control Z does work. That's not how we want to do that, is it? Let's select these walls and pull it back. There we go. Then I think you can put in your own doors if you so desire. Now you can put in plates, you can put in the gel. It's limiting, but you can do a lot with it. And there's far more advice for people that actually want to get into doing that. Highly recommended. If you know anything about 3D graphic design as well, this is especially useful for you to jump into. So you can view other workshops and play various other games. There is also cooperative test chambers. I've played some that are called races, where you race against a friend. There's a lot of really creative, fun stuff. Got all these extras. Yeah, I'm not sure what else really to say about the game. I don't dare show anymore for fear that I spoil stuff, because this is just a really solid game. The platforming is solid, the puzzles are solid, the music is amazing, the gameplay is dynamic and changing. The puzzle difficulty is pretty friendly, although it gets much more difficult, so it will make you think. Everyone's got that one puzzle towards later on in the game, that one puzzle that they end up getting stuck on. That's just how it goes. There's autosave. The autosave feature is very good. Whenever it autosaves, it'll save at a point that even if you die, so if I was to die here, it had autosaved at the button press. So not all is lost. I'm able to keep going if I need to. So it autosaves really well. There's just really... This is about as good as... It's about as good as a game can get, in my opinion. I don't know if there's anything that I could say negatively about Portal 2. It is by far one of my favorite games ever. It is probably the best puzzle game I've ever played.
Well done. The Enrichment Center reminds you that although circumstances may appear bleak, you are not alone.
The humor in this game is so good. At this point, I'm just rambling. Thank you for watching. My name is Atratzu, and I hope I will see you all testing soon.